Hello, everyone in Mexico. I really hope you love Firestarter. It's a movie that I feel really good about. I think you're going to like it. And thanks so much for watching and listening, and see you next time.
Pencil, desk, paper, shoes. You're weird. Everything okay, Charlie? It happened again.
What happened?
The bad thing.
Recently, we see Firestarter, and I love the movie.
Okay, great.
What was the biggest challenge to adapting this Stephen King history?
Yeah, so I think one big thing was the book itself, which I've read a number of times, both when I was young and then in making this, is quite a sprawling story. There are a lot of characters in it. There are a lot of locations. There's a lot of things that happen. There are a lot of different roads that it goes down as it's kind of winding along. I think the original 1980s version did a very good job of telling the core plot in terms of this happens and this happens and this happens, here's where we go. I was really interested in streamlining it and getting to know the family, spending more time with the family before things explode, before things get crazy, and really just honing in on that. So a big part of the adaptation that Scott Teems, the writer, did before I was involved was doing a lot of that trimming down and streamlining it to focus it. So that was challenging because there's obviously parts you want. There's little scenes in the book, like the kitchen sink scene, the disposal unit scene in the book, which it's one that people or fans of the book love, which we couldn't fit. Like it wouldn't work. So it's focusing on those key moments. It's challenging, but I felt good about where we got.
How difficult was make a film like this in a superhero era where when we see a lot of movies with superpowers, with pyrokinesis, etc.
For me, the approach, right, after Firestarter came out, after the book came out and then that original movie, it felt like comic books and TV and things really ran with the imagery from that. I mean, we can see it in Stranger Things. Stranger Things, the TV show, pulls very heavily from the Firestarter story. A girl in an experiment with powers, this sort of thing. For me, to make it different, I didn't want to have fire shooting out of anyone's hands or show any of the superhero sort of tropes that we're used to. Instead, I really wanted to get it very grounded and realistic as much as I could. If you had this power, if you could start fires with your mind, what would it look like? How would it function? How would it work? We spent a lot of time figuring that out. And more importantly, what would be the ramifications? How would it affect you? How would it affect other people? If you burn somebody, I didn't want it just to be some stuntman on fire who just runs into a corner and puts himself out and we never see him again. I'd rather you burn somebody and then we see the aftermath. We see what happens and we get the gravity of, oh shit, this is uncomfortable, this power.
Yeah, I love the film, and I love this mix between the sound design. How do you design all this, the combination of sounds with the push, the pyrokinesis, everything?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, for me, I've always found since I was little, when I was watching scary movies, that of course you plug your ears and it's half as scary. So it seemed to me like the sound design and the score are like crucial. So from a very early stage, we were working on the sound design, trying to come up with both the real world sounds, just to make the place feel real and immersive, and then the sounds of Charlie's powers and the sound of Zac's powers and what do those sound like, how they feel. And then you add on top of that having John Carpenter do the score, which is one of his classic sort of Carpenter. You know it when you hear it, right? There's nothing else that sounds like it. It was just a great combination. I was incredibly blessed to have that. Both a great sound team and Carpenter and Cody and Daniel being able to just blend those two really well. And Carpenter, because he's a filmmaker, he's very aware of how sound design plays in, because you could have some composers that might try to overtake the sound design or sound designers that try to overtake the score, but they worked really well together.
I don't want to hurt anyone, but it feels kind of good.